Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Fabiola, and in today's video I have a reading video, and I'm actually going to talk about these books that I've read in quarantine. And since the beginning, I think yeah, I started reading the I forgot one which I really liked. I'm gonna talk about books that I've read in quarantine. Just do a quick review about each one of them, and I really do recommend. So we're gonna jump straight into the video. Please, if you enjoy this type of videos, don't forget the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for my future videos. To tell you the truth, I used to read a lot when I was about in junior high, but then when I got into high school, since you get more homework and all that, I didn't really start reading then. I didn't keep reading then as a habit. Until I went to uni, I started picking up on the reading a little bit more, just doing it for fun. But I've never read about, I think, more than 3 books a year. So this year, actually in December, me and my mom were talking about just trying to get a little bit more books in your mind so that you can exercise your brain, and it's something we really enjoy doing, but we forgot about it. So this year I really picked up my reading, and maybe for you guys it's, oh, that's nothing, I can finish that in 1 month. But for me, going from about max 3 books to right now, I've just read 9 books, and I'm still working in quarantine, so I do have to just I don't have such a long time to read, but I do have plenty of time. So I do try to find myself some time to reading now. So this is a very big accomplishment. That's why I want to start trying to make these kinds of videos, because I am really enjoying reading. And I know this type of videos help me to choose books. So this is why I'm doing this. To begin with, we're going to start with this one since I just finished reading. I actually just woke up a little while ago from a very long nap, because I actually went to sleep around 2:30 in the morning trying to finish this, and I did finish it. I did not want to go to sleep without finishing the book. The last about 8 or 10 chapters are just very, very intense, and you do not want to put the book down. So that's why I really enjoyed this book. And one of the best books I have read, and I want to talk about this one first because this is the one that I just finished. I've read one book before about from this author, and his name is Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And the first book I read was The Shadow of the Wind. It is very, very, very interesting. I really do recommend it. I believe there's a second book with that, but I haven't read it yet. And that's why I chose this book. This is actually a book that my mom gave to me because she knows that I really enjoy The Shadow of the Wind. So when she found this book, she bought it and gave it to me. And she actually gifted this to me around like a year or 2 ago, but I've never picked it up again. I'm trying to practice my English a lot. I want to feel comfortable speaking it, because in my job I do speak English. I write in English, but I want to feel more comfortable speaking it, because when we ever get a conference or phone calls, it was very nerve-wracking for me because I was afraid that they wouldn't understand me. So now I want to feel much, much comfortable speaking it, and that's why I started reading books in English. But when the author is a Spanish writer, then I do prefer to read it in Spanish. So since I got a little bit carried away on the English books, I decided to pick this one up because I had it in my bookshelf, and that's why I started reading it. First of all, this author is a very kind of poetic author. So when he ever explains an action, or he explains a character, he is very, very poetic about it, and it's easier to understand, but it also helps you be more empathetic and feel more related to not related to the character, but you understand the feelings a little bit more. It gets you hooked that way, in an emotional way. So this is something I really enjoy about this author actually. And I'm also doing this because I was very sad to hear he actually passed away a few weeks ago. So I was very sad because he was very young still. So this book is actually a very, very good book. It's kind of like a mysterious about a boy that lives in an orphanage, and his name is Oscar. People or rich people or also left their children there because they had to work or travel a lot, so they left their kids in an orphanage and they would live there and go to school there. And this Oscar, actually, in the afternoons, he really enjoyed just taking walks outside and exploring the city. The town was Barcelona, so he, in one of his walking around, he found this huge house and he decided to go in there, and little by little he met Marina, which is the title of the book. Marina is a young girl, also around his age, that lived there with her dad. So together they meet each other little by little. He starts visiting them more often, and they actually come up with this mysterious in the history of Barcelona that happened and affected the whole city a lot, because there were people that really contributed to the city and also very important people there in the past. They were running into these things that took them and motivated, and kind of like they felt like they had to solve this mystery. So they actually went into this mystery thing, and it's so intense. And not only the whole mystery thing, but also their emotions and everything like each character went through. It's so difficult. I don't want to say like a lot of spoilers. This is the first time I'm ever like doing kind of like a review, but I don't want to spoil anything because I hate spoilers. So yeah, so they together try to solve this mystery, which is so weird. And I actually love that this author mixes kind of like past books that you probably have read and the names of characters, which is kind of weird because it relates to the story. So I don't know, I was hooked onto this because there was books I read in the past that the names were very similar, and because the story actors were very similar. So I don't know, you guys will get it if you read it and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is a mystery book, and from that is trying to be solved by these two young kids or teenagers, and it also gets you more involved with the characters emotionally. So this is if you like mystery, if you like really descriptive, poetic kind of things, and also the author relating other things that you've probably seen or heard or read, then this is the book you would like to read. And this author is so good that I also recommend The Shadow of the Wind. So if you have read Shadow of the Wind, this is pretty much similar to his writing, and obviously The Shadow of the Wind is kind of a mystery as well, so this is a book you have to read. And this one I thought, because I had just seen the film for a little bit, I didn't really finish watching the movie, but I decided to read the novel because my mom was very insistent on it. She's like, oh, it's not the same, just read it. So I actually picked it up and I read it. My mom, I think, gifted this to me as well. And this book is so amazing. Nothing at all related to the movie. The movie was great, but I believe you feel like a little bit more related to the characters, and you understand more of the main characters and her reasons and her past and why she's doing this and why she did that and why this character feels that way, or she listens more to this character. So it's kind of like confusing, but obviously the movie is not the same as the book. So if you haven't read this book, I really do recommend it. I actually did some research, and I also noticed that a lot of people were really not pleased with the way the author did this book. Obviously this is a fiction novel, and it relates the story of a geisha and how she got involved into this world of geisha and being away from her parents and why and all that, but it's not true. So the real geishas one of the real geishas, the most popular one, was very unpleased. So actually, the author, after writing this book, got invited to do interviews and to learn more about the culture of geishas, and so that he can know, so that they can teach him it's not the way he displayed it on the book. But I even though this happened, I really do I really do get that vibe that geisha was very important for them. It's very cultural and very important for them. So I do get that vibe. So if they were afraid that the reader wouldn't get that vibe, that geisha was very important, their reputation, their look, and everything they did was, I mean, they were people that educated themselves to be able to speak good topics, political topics, and they also had talent, dancing and playing instruments. So for me, I believe I did get that vibe that it was a cultural thing that was very important for them. So I think that's what they were concerned about, that we wouldn't get that. But this is a very good book, and like I said, you will understand why geishas were driven into this world and everything they have to go through. But I do think they had to be very educated in order to actually be a geisha, and they had to be very elegant. So I don't want to also ruin this, but this is a story of this geisha that, because circumstances of life, and from being a little girl, she actually got into this geisha world. She started living in a geisha house, and they started forming her into being a good and elegant geisha. She actually had to go through a lot of things, and maybe through a lot of bad people's choices. So at the end, she obviously turned into a geisha, a very popular one, but there's a lot of circumstances of her life that made her journey really tough. So I really do recommend this book if you like more like a story, very different from Marina. I try to choose books that are very different from each other because it gets my mind off of the previous one. Because if I do two books that's like back to back that are similar on the topic, then I will like one book more than the other. So that's why I try to choose different books after I read one. And this is another book I really loved. I actually gifted myself this on my birthday. This book is written very particularly because it's written as an interview, like if it was an interview. I actually have the book upside down. As you can see, it has the names and the answers right next to them. But I felt like I didn't have a hard time reading it. I actually got used to it, like at the end, like a few pages in, I got used to it and I read it fluidly. So I didn't have a hard time reading it. So if I didn't have a hard time reading it, you won't either. But I have heard that getting the audio version is very good. This book is about Daisy Jones, and she is a very young girl that has also gone through a very bad childhood, but she is very talented. So because of destiny and because of her friendships and the people around her, she actually developed this talent of hers of singing and also creating music, creating songs. Finally gets to publish her own CD, her own music, and because she's into this music world, she also started bumping into the Six, which is a band that was also working their way up to the fame and was very close to getting there. And once they meet with Daisy, they actually, the person in charge of the band was also very interested in how they worked with Daisy. So he actually suggested that they should include Daisy into their band because he knew that it was going to be a hit. So once the band is together, because of all the issues that each band member has gone through in the past, it starts getting a little bit tougher, and this is a late 70s scenario. So there's going to be a lot of rock and roll, there's going to be a lot of issues, drugs, and cheating and everything. There's gonna be a lot of issues, but I think it's a very kind of relaxed reading, something that is not gonna take your energy, but you will have a roller coaster of emotions throughout this book. So I really do recommend it, and it ends very interesting as well. So if you really want to read something that keeps your mind out of all these issues, then this is one of the books. And also you do get that vibe from the 70s, late 60s, from all the crazy rock and roll, drugs and everything. So you will get that vibe from this book. I really do recommend it. It's one of my top books of this year. Out of order. And Una Out of Order was a book I thrifted. I actually thrift books as I go, as I can. But if there's new releases, then I'm most likely going to purchase them new. Like Daisy and Jones and the Sex, I purchased it new. But this one I also thrifted, and this is a great book. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was gonna find a book like this in the thrift store, but I'm glad I did. And this book is written by Margarita Montemore, and this book is so crazy. I mean, it's so creative. Like I wouldn't think of writing or imagine a book written about this in such a flowy manner and creative manner. So that's why I really enjoyed it. Una is a young girl, and it starts when it's about to be New Year's. So it's New Year's Eve, and she's at a party, and she actually, after her 18th birthday, and the New Year is also her birthday, so she talks about after her 18th birthday she's gonna turn 18 supposedly, and she leaves every New Year and her birthday to a new year in her life, but it's not in order. So she travels into her 40s, and then she travels until her 30s, and then she travels on her 20-something. So her life after her 18th birthday is very out of order. So she starts realizing things, and she notices things that the people that were there once were not out there, and situations have happened that she hasn't lived it yet. So she's kind of like, after this happens, she doesn't know it happened. It's so weird. You guys have to read it, but it's very interesting that she lives her life in different order, and she has to deal with it. At first, obviously, it's very, so like, I felt it, that she was very overwhelmed and that she was very sad because everything was happening to her, and she wasn't on her 18s. She was actually an older woman, and it's very kind of confusing for her. But you as a reader will understand everything she's going through, and you will understand her feelings, because you will also live her life in that order, if you know what I mean. And every chapter it's new, and you're kind of rooting for her to change her destiny, because you don't want her to go through a problem you know she's going to go through. I don't want to get into explaining it because I'm going to ruin the story for you guys, but this is a very interesting book. Is a young woman and her life being out of order, and she actually earns money in a very interesting way, which is very smart for her if this would happen in real life. So like I said, it's very interesting. It's very a roller coaster of emotions, but this is a very creative book, so I really do recommend it. And these are the books I have loved so far. I have actually read other books that I really love, like Little Women, Harry Potter, and other books, but lately I've read this book, so that's why I wanted to talk about this. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for my future videos.